Okay, I'm just gonna get this out of the way now. Yes, obviously, I wish that this was a full fourth season.
Copyright disclaimer.
Okay, yes, I wish that there was a fourth season. I wish we had more time. I feel like I'm not alone in that thought. I do want to do my best to focus on just what we have. Occasionally, I am going to go into, I wish there was more time. I'm going to do my best to keep that short, or maybe I'll just save it to the end. And I want to spend this video focusing on what we do have, because what we have is pretty good, all things considered. So let's talk about Heartstopper Forever. I do feel like Heartstopper Forever is very good at what it needed to do. Instead of getting full resolutions, character arcs, and developments for the side characters, we get moments. Most of those moments are really, really good. I wish they were all scenes. 4 seasons joke here. I really feel like each season could have been twice as long, 2 episodes. The movie is about half the length of a season. It does have that kind of unfinished business while doing everything it can to resolve the story. And I still really enjoyed most of what I got. This is pretty good. Double this, please. Double the pretty good, and it'd be pretty great. Cause see, Heartstopper Forever isn't really a movie per se. It's barely a TV movie. It's not obviously a full season of a show. It's like a finale project. And I don't know. I hope that feedback reaches Netflix more than the creatives involved. Gee, I wish I could spend more time watching Netflix and getting more Heartstopper. Maybe I'll read the books and turn Netflix off. Like, share, comment, subscribe, by the way, so I can afford the box set. That being said, I'd rather have a pretty good conclusion than nothing at all. That's just me. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Patreon plug, merch store, gaming channel, you get it. So yeah, let's dive into Heartstopper Forever together and focus on what it is, while yes, also wondering what could have been. As we prepare to see our cast older with a bunch of life choices in front of them, looking back on the seasons through a montage of photos was a very sweet way to open the movie, and thematically brilliant. Photos to me being a big consistent metaphor throughout the project, and I'll get to it when we get there. Seeing these photos reminding us of how far the characters have come pairs excellently with Charlie's speech as he runs for head boy against Harry? Okay, honestly, that's kind of brilliant. It made me laugh. While I wish Harry as a character got a little more to chew on despite limited screen time, as Charlie's opponent for head boy, he represents a stagnant status quo compared to Charlie's cries for progression. Because you see, Charlie brings with him a call to action and change to the school. Just like we went over in season 3, lots of people would be inspired and empowered seeing Charlie be head boy. Not just the queer students, but anyone who has been bullied or struggled with fitting in, or any semblance of mental health, toxic masculinity, what have you. Something Charlie even addresses directly in his speech, starting with, "You probably know who I am because of how much I've been bullied," and concluding on not just wanting to end bullying, but tackling the issue at the source with a strong stance on safe spaces and men's mental health, how words can hurt and harm and are never simply jokes or banter. As we see Nick, Isaac, and Tao inspired and proud of our best boy, seeing the younger students hit me like to my core. Turning your pain into something productive is already admirable, but just thinking about the legacy leaving behind at this school and making sure that the next Charlie will struggle less than he did. Literally embodying the sentiment Heartstopper breathes by just existing. Now Charlie kind of feels how I've felt. Not the scared part, the happy part. Charlie's afraid of getting into a car crash. Seeing the Heartstopper friend group help Charlie's campaign for head boy feels so season 4 of a show than more typical movie, and frankly, I really liked that. It carries the spirit of a new season. We know who everyone is, or rather, you should if you're watching this, because we have to hit the ground running. What could have been a whole episode wraps up so quickly as Charlie wins the vote by 61%, becoming the next head boy. Just like I was saying earlier about all the side characters getting great moments, knowing that Mr. Ajay and Mr. Farouk, who had that incredible, lovely, powerful scene in season 3, knowing that they got to announce Charlie as the head boy, if we have to get moments over scenes and arcs, at least this is an excellent moment. Wish I could say the same for Harry, since he's being a sore loser. Maybe I misinterpreted some of his British bullying as like genuine as opposed to like quippy sarcasm. I thought Harry was getting a little better. Like, really, dude, you don't understand anything Charlie was talking about. Bloody hell, lad, I thought you were improving. Honestly, it's fine. We don't have time for you, Harry. Go piss. Speaking of characters we don't have time for, seeing Imogen chat with this girl and be like really close to her was very lovely, and her panicked lines about still being unsure who she is a great moment to illuminate what she's going through, and it also feels very Imogen, like, you got this, kiddo. I believe in you. Speaking of, I guess Tara and Darcy are considering a gap gap year. And like, okay, we'll come back to that moment. I wish their moments weren't so strung along like this. Like, I get it, they're figuring stuff out. Tara and Oxford was such a big part of season 3, and we know nothing about Darcy's plans other than bad grades gap year. I kind of wish we maybe highlighted gap year more, because I love how different that is. Like, there's all these different solutions to what you can do with your life, or what you can do with your life right now as you're leaving high school. I like it on paper. There's just not enough time. Not every moment is a series of tiny pieces, but Tara and Darcy got the most fragmented moments out of all the extended cast. I'm not mad, it's just a bummer. If I may use an example, I love Tori having a supportive beat with Isaac and how she admires that he doesn't care what other people think of him. Carry on then. But now imagine we didn't get the rest of Tori's thoughts on Isaac until later in the movie. That's what kind of bums me out about Tara and Darcy. At least Nick and Charlie get more beautiful animations together, and as they drive out to the beach again to explore a different part of the beach, wink. Look, okay, it very much encapsulates that la 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 aversion, like when I think about like my little sister living her life in romantic ways, like, nope, all you do is hold hands. I do love the afterglow. We see Nick waking up and finding Charlie playing with the dogs in the yard, which, rest in peace, Echo, you were the goodest and the bestest. I love the comfortability in the air as this overnight stay, which was a big part of season 3 and even a big part of season 2, you could argue, is just normal and lovely now. They're definitely in a new stage of their relationship, especially as we're daydreaming about our potential futures and what our jobs will look like, how many dogs we'll have. And speaking of the future, I really appreciate that, like, Nick not telling Charlie that he wants to go to Leeds, like, that's just not a thing. Like, I really didn't want Nick to have like a High School Musical 3, what school do I go to, theater or basketball? I'm just glad we avoided that altogether. Speaking of sports and theater, Charlie does quit rugby, which makes sense. He's head boy now. He's already got the boy he joined the team for. I get it. Also, thank you for everything, coach. Give my best to the missus. Not only does dropping rugby make sense for Charlie's schedule, it also provides us insight as we focus on Nick struggling to be without Charlie. It's easier said than done, for sure. Charlie's absent presence everywhere at school, at the rugby field, made me kind of hope that Nick could find something else, something that's just his outside of school to clear his head, get away from it all. Especially as we see Nick struggle to start his college application personal essay thing. Trust me, I know how hard it is to find value in yourself and your accomplishments. Sometimes people just can't feel worthy of praise, and that blocks you off from seeing anything great about who you are. Like, I feel you, kid. Especially when we see Charlie thriving in his part-time job at a local coffee shop. It's nothing fancy, but he gets to be his own person here. A place where he can just exist. Oh, okay, Nick, we gotta get you a job or something, buddy. Like, it's the GSLMNOP exams all over again. Stop texting him at work. Oh, great. Turns out David moved back home. Awesome. Still haven't figured out doors, have we, David? Sorry, the lock on Nick's door is hilarious. At least you won't walk in on more stuff. Which, speaking of the stuff, I don't want this to sound like I'm clutching my pearls. I'm worried about the runtime. I'm thinking of the limited runtime when I say there's a little too much. Even if it totals to 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes we could be spending with other characters or concluding other story arcs. I don't think I would feel this way if it was a full season. Feel however you feel about the intimacy stuff. I definitely don't feel this way about the beginning, however, because it does prove its point narratively to see a sort of distraction for Nick so he can more easily avoid himself and his personal essay. Luckily, Charlie ends up helping Nick. He suggests Nick also volunteers or gets a job somewhere, something outside of school. Couldn't agree more, kiddo. I'm so proud of you, Charlie. That was very insightful. Charlie, with his new head boy pin, begins advocating for mental health at the school, and one of the younger boys who watched his speech earlier stares at him like he's a celebrity. Adorable in nature, beautiful meta. Also a shining light after Charlie's years of being the gay kid and having all this negative attention. Now here's a positive perception of who Charlie is. Like, he's not a target anymore. He's an inspiration. Sadly, this will have to sustain Charlie for now as the principal rejects Charlie's proposal for a pride club. Because it's a social club? What? I'm confused. Are you paying the sports people? Is that not social? No, wait. I have questions. All right, fine. We get to see Michael and Tori again. Yay. Hi, Michael. Have fun ice skating. Since all of our couples are limited to just moments, I love how Tori and Michael remind us that while it will be difficult difficult, yes, long-distance relationships are possible. I really enjoy all the different perspectives we get via osmosis through the other relationships in the show. Later, Nick wakes up in tears after having a nightmare about Charlie dying. Obviously, it's indicative of how much Nick loves Charlie, but yeah, something isn't okay here. I think Nick's holding on to a lot of stuff. The friend group later reunites at a library, to support Sahar and Charlie's band, Queer Intentions. Heartstopper really does its best to help me see them as older teens entering young adulthood, but no, you're not old enough. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Denial. As the band plays and Charlie begins rocking out with Sahar, everyone gets up to dance and Nick has no partner out on the dance floor. At first, it's fun that he's kind of just being a goofball dork and clapping along and cheering for Charlie. It starts to concern me that Nick doesn't really hang out with the friend group when Charlie's not around. He has a little comment, oh, you only hang out with me so I could buy everyone library books. And it just makes me a little sad, but hey, at least the rugby lads are here to, no. Boys, lads, come on, I trusted you. What is this? Not to sound old, but I get it. Like, it's a whole new experience to be at a library, but like, no one's keeping an eye on these lads, really? Ew, David. What are you doing here, David? Get out of here. As Nick goes way too hard, actually, he eventually gets more and more concerning to watch as opposed to lovable goofy like I mentioned before. You can see how this could fly under everyone else's radar as simply, oh geez, Nick gets really broy when he reads too many library books. As Nick stumbles around, we hear Elle and Tower fighting about Berlin. Wait, what happened to Paris? I understand where all the emotion's coming from now. We also thought Elle was going to Paris. Tao probably did too. Tao probably said the same thing I'm thinking off screen as Elle keeps wanting to move further and further away. A very, stumbly Nick tries to help them stop fighting and just love each other, which fails. It probably would have failed sober, and not every couple is you and Charlie, Nick. Whoa, who are you? Do you even go here? Sorry, Charlie. My bad. I trust you. Nick, on the other hand, gets, pretty angry at this random guy talking to Charlie about drums. Alarmingly angry. Well, alarmingly angry for Nick. This is so unlike him. Especially as Nick says things like, everyone hates me. It doesn't feel like it's a thought that he just had now. It feels like everything's being amplified by his library books, not the cause of the library books. Does that make sense? This metaphor, analogy, simile is failing. Nick's just been a little too, haha, why do you even keep me around? And it's getting concerning. And then David offers Nick a ride home. Well, good for you for learning how cars work, buddy. Okay, but that's actually shockingly kind. Yet another casualty of runtime. I kind of see this moment as, here's something Nick is struggling with that David knows how to help or what to do. He's still not very kind about it, but he knows the right thing to do here. Tame as it was in the grand scheme of things, it does speak volumes about Nick that his curt, angry comments at a flirty guy was crazy behavior to him. I don't like the part of my brain that goes, I've seen worse. I think that's also the point. Like, to Nick, this is so like, whoa. I just think it speaks to his character as well as alerting us to something going on. Oh God, Nick, you have rugby later? You did all this and you have rugby in the morning? A recovering Nick makes Charlie apology pancakes, feeling bad about the night before. Charlie, isn't feeling hungry, which brings up some alarms. His appetite being touch and go lately is concerning, yes, but I also adore how casually it's handled. We now know how to traverse this more productively for Charlie, until Nick snaps at Charlie about talking to him with therapy speak. While your defensiveness is obvious, it just makes things scarier. Seeing you get defensive over needing help, where there's smoke, there's fire. You know what I mean? Speaking of fire, your pancakes are on fire. Something that we're neglecting. Maybe if we focus on ourselves, we can make the pancakes, you get it. I hop. You take care of yourself, Nick. I'm trying. I'm sorry. Charlie goes home and still isn't eating, and I really appreciate how this isn't framed as Nick's fault, but rather a product of all of Charlie's new stressors. While I'm beyond overjoyed that Charlie has virtual therapy with Jeff going on still, it's also a good reminder that Charlie has to learn to be supportive without blaming himself for Nick's pain. Okay, I don't know much about sports, let alone British rugby sports. I don't think Nick was at fault here. Like, yeah, he got shoved and he shouldn't have shoved that kid back, but he got like punched. Where's coach? Where's your parents? Oh, hi, Nick's second mom. You know what? Good for Nick. He has two moms. I was just trying to find a fun way to acknowledge the new casting. I support Nick having two moms. After being cleared from the hospital, Nick and his mom talk about his argument earlier with Charlie. More importantly, that Nick feels like he's failing at everything, and suddenly his struggles with his personal essay make so much more sense. He tries to illustrate himself as good, a good boyfriend, a good rugby player, a good student, and he doesn't feel like he he's good at anything. Hearing Nick have such a low opinion of himself is genuinely frightening, and thankfully Charlie stops by to hang out in the snow like it's season 1. He's even wearing the same hat. Like, ow, come on, guys. It's a nice touch. While it's so lovely seeing them have another snow day, seeing Nick's injury keeps things grounded in a bit of sadness. We can never go back to before. It'll never be like that again. It keeps me grounded. I really like that. And also, oh, Charlie made a fort for Nick in his bedroom. Charlie gives Nick his early Christmas present of a disposable camera. No screen, no filters, no nothing. And no, I'm not old. The perfectly good technology functions as a reminder to enjoy the moment and not worry about how things turn out. Take a photo without seeing how it looks on a screen. Be in the moment, be open, be honest, and don't assume the worst will come out of everything you say and do. Nick shares more details of his nightmare about Charlie's death, that in his dream it was his fault for missing warning signs and everyone blamed him for what happened, and it's really tragic. Sounds like Nick is carrying a lot of weight on his shoulders. While both Nick and Charlie have things to work on, you can see how without change, the hole will just dig itself deeper and deeper and they'll keep swirling in the spiral. Nick not sharing his feelings fuels Charlie's insecurities, and it's painful but powerful in its illustration of mental health. After previous storylines held so much immediate intensity, this is so different because it's less tangible but just as well done. Back at school for springtime, it turns out Tao and Elle broke up off screen again? Charlie sees that kid again, but now he's being bullied by other students, and as Charlie intervenes, the bully kids try challenging Charlie's authority as head boy, and he does not back down. I feel like season 1 Charlie would have deflated here, but no, Charlie leveled up. And while the kid appreciates Charlie, you can tell he's still worn down. Like he's safe for now, but it'll probably just happen again. And Charlie reassures him that if this were to happen again, he would still be there to help. And searching for ways to make good on that promise, Charlie ends up talking to Mr. Ajay, my king. Not only is it heartwarming to see the two talk more like equals as they worry about the younger students, but Mr. Ajay reveals that he was told Mr. Ajay reveals that he was told not to let students eat in his art room, and he did it anyway because he knew Charlie needed it. Like, it's such a fast but huge lore drop. Like, oh my god. And I thought I couldn't love you more, you beautiful, beautiful man. After recontextualizing the past, Mr. Ajay also encourages Charlie in the present, reminding him that, historically, us queers have never asked for permission to exist. And it amps me up with pride while filling me with tears. Like, it's so perfect. I've talked a lot about how the art room has been a consistent safe space even before the show begins, all the way back even like with Elle's painting and everything that's implied with Charlie in the year before. Now we're seeing not just the power of the room, but the power of the man who kept the door open for students in need. It's so palpable. Like, you can't cure the school of bullying, but you can make sure the safe spaces stay open and people who need them know about them. Oh, it's fine. We see another encouraging step forward as Nick applies to work at a pet adoption shelter. Not only is this perfect for Nick, who loves his doggos, it creates a space separate from school or friends, even Charlie, for Nick to just clear his head and be on his own. The interview goes fine, except the boss assumes Nick's partner is a girl, which Nick doesn't correct, and given the imbalance of power here, yeah, I get that. It hurts, but I get it. However, it's no less reassuring to see Nick heal as he spends time caring for the dogs at the shelter away from the rest of his life. Biscuit, my beloved baby boy. Also, yay, Nick got accepted into his top uni choice, the one that's 4 or 5 hours away. After we see Charlie refuse to ask for permission, getting the word out that he's starting the unofficial Pride Club anyway. Hell yeah, Charlie, that's what rock and roll is all about. Nick and Charlie plan to meet up after Nick's shift for a 2-year anniversary picnic in the park, and as Charlie sets up, he gets a text from Nick that he's gonna work late, actually, and Charlie just waits, alone, in the cold, not eating. Yeah, I think I found the problem. Nick's boss asks Nick about his girlfriend, and this time Nick does correct him that he's bi actually. Charlie is his boyfriend actually. And the boss gets a little defensive, but he's pretty chill about it. It's just, oh my bad. Okay, what's your boyfriend like? It's pretty good, all things considered. It's not negative, it's not positive. It's a nice neutral interaction. It's also important thematically because we need to see that Nick isn't scared of saying he can't work late because of his boss, but rather he's afraid of letting people down. It's a throwaway line, but but it's so insightful and so quick. Nick's self-worth being so low is devastating, and it's still going on outside of his relationship with Charlie or rugby or school, and it just makes his struggles all the more important to address as soon as possible. More so as Charlie, who waited so long at the park, is now cold and hasn't touched any of the food for the picnic. The cycle that they're stuck in manifesting like this shows a terrible future ahead if Nick and Charlie continue to leave their struggles unaddressed and unresolved. Like, yes, Nick and Charlie are perfect together. Unfortunately, so are their internal conflicts and insecurities. As the group waits in the art room for anyone to attend the unofficial Pride Club, at least we get to see Mr. Farouk join in and yeah, let's go! You matter to me, sir. It was also really nice to see the group confirm Mr. Ajay and Mr. Farouk are dating, actually, before that kid comes back, entering the art room on his own before dozens other follow. It's such a lovely scene of unity amplified at the revelation that now these kids not just have a club, but know to come here if they're scared or going through a hard time. Know that the art room is here, but also Mr. Ajay and Mr. Farouk or Charlie or any of the other kids that they're in this club with. Like, you could see that safe space continue to grow, and it'll be there after Charlie leaves. It just says so much with so little. I love way more time with this, don't get me wrong, but for what little time you have, it's perfect. The art room, Mr. Ajay and Mr. Farouk just adopted a lot more students. Like, that was supposed to make me laugh. Instead, it's making me more emotional. Damn it. As the Heartstopper friend group reunites, despite Tao and Elle being broken up again, we see everyone is buzzing about their own lives while enjoying what little time they have left together. And sure, most teenage relationships don't last. All right, I think it would just be better served to just say why Tao and Elle broke up as opposed to, oh, teenage relationships don't usually last. That feels like outside criticism as opposed to something for the story, because like, Tara and Darcy are doing just fine. Could just be a me thing. It just gets referenced so much throughout that I'm like, I wish it was a little more specific, because then we'd learn something more about Tao and Elle's relationship. While having no time for Tao and Elle or Tara and Darcy, dang, sorry Imogen, no time for you either, kiddo. As the group laments their limited time left to hang out together, at least they have Pride coming up, and that cheers everyone up a bit. Well, everyone except Tao, who says they'll probably never speak to each other again. Which, damn, bud. Also, quick, Isaac, express your desire to become a writer someday. Yay! I'm glad Isaac got another moment. Also, damn, our Ace King Lord of the Arrows really hit a nerve, reminding Charlie that he hasn't been thinking much about the future because he's been so busy just trying to survive. I think I'll miss you most of all, King. Later, while celebrating Nick's mom's birthday, David finally says something negative about their father, which is huge for David. Nick tries calling him out for this sudden change of heart, which ignites a flashback for Nick of his father being disappointed in a very tiny younger Nick for not knowing French enough. Not only is he putting him down, but withholding affection with a toxic ass, gee, we could talk more if you only knew French, Nicholas. It's disappointing. Also, the catalyst for Nick's people-pleasing tendencies and low self-worth is on full display here. Tragically, Nick thinking he's not good enough makes a lot of sense now. As Nick and Charlie worry that their teen romance also won't last because of Elle and Tao, they go to another huge hairy birthday party with a really bizarre but cool shark room. Like, what is this? Is this British? Or is this just dope? Harry calls the couple proper romantic as they walk by, and again, I can't tell if he's being a bully or if he's being a little better. I'm just confused. Confusing as it was, I also really like Harry's party being so segmented, not only by like vibe and tone, but color and atmosphere. It was really cool to me. While Tara makes a great point about the expectations we face at this age, I feel like a little more information for Tara and Darcy, both with like grades and Oxford and taking that gap year. I feel like this moment would have been a little stronger, especially because I think it's implied that Tara doesn't get into Oxford, which then makes it not her choice to take a gap year with Darcy. Dang, Tara and Darcy really got the shortest end of this stick, and it bums me out. Elle expressing that she and Tao might one day resent each other if they just keep dating obviously scares Nick. While I like this reminder to not compare yourself to others, I think this serves as a better element than, well, teen relationships don't always last. That being said, buddy, that's a sign to talk things out and work on things with Charlie and for yourself. Ignoring my advice, Nick and Charlie get into a fight and break up. Not because they want to, but because they're just so afraid the other wants to end things that they kind of just do it to themselves. And yeah, while some time apart would probably probably be healthy. A pause or a break would be way better than this fumbled, sudden breakup moment. And it's devastating how hard both of them take it. Nick is convinced he's doing everything wrong while Charlie just keeps giving Nick more and more space because he wants him to be excited about going to Leeds. Like, they're both so wrapped in their own internal struggles that there's no room to let the other person in. Nick just shuts down while Charlie spikes with panic, and it complements each other in the worst possible way. And as Nick leaves the party in tears, suddenly, inexplicably single, the timeline also splits in two. Just like in season 3, we also branch out into the two perspectives, Nick's and Charlie's. Starting with Charlie's perspective, we see Charlie spiraling and shutting down, which leads to him not eating again. Even as Tori and Mom and Dad try to encourage him to just eat something. We see Charlie doing grounding exercises with Jeff, not in the sense of starting over, but framed in a way of like back to basics, stretching and warming up our mental health muscles and exercises. Charlie tries texting Nick, but he just can't bring himself to do it. Just like in previous seasons, we see the last text message sent between Nick and Charlie was about meeting up for Harry's party, cluing us in that unfortunately, they haven't spoken since their fight. Thankfully, the OG group assembles for Heartstopper Endgame to prevent Doomsday and just be with Charlie. They're just gonna cook some pasta, eat it, and watch movies together. Tao and Elle even put their breakup on pause so they can all be present with Charlie. If I can't get a ton of screen time of Isaac, Tao, Elle, and Charlie being there for each other, at least we get this moment. As Charlie laments that he doesn't want to go to Pride anymore because he just doesn't want to be surrounded by the magical wonder of love, Elle reminds Charlie that that's not all that Pride is about. Elle needs Charlie with her to march, to be by her side as the world continues to reject her and the community. The reality that her journey cannot happen anymore if she was even a bit younger hits like a truck. While Pride is a celebration of love, it's also far more than that. It's not just any rainbow that we fly with Pride, it's a rainbow made of bricks. And I appreciate that reminder. Not only is this true, and I appreciate that we hold the weight of Pride without discarding all of its joys, it also serves the narrative to remind Charlie that he, just like Pride itself, Pride is more than just romantic love, just like how Charlie is more than his relationship with Nick. The love he is given is still there when Nick's not around, and his love is still valuable when not being given romantically to Nick. Breaking the tension a bit, I also kind of love Charlie's Pride hoodie being black, but still having rainbows on it. I try the same, like, as someone who just sweats aggressively and can't wear white or bright colors. Where do I get that hoodie? I also, yes, Charlie's not in a good mood, but he's here for Pride. I like that visually. I want one. As Elle nervously, lovingly leads the cheers, the encouragement from her support system to be as loud as she can be without shifting the vibe of celebration was really lovely. There's so much pain in the world, and I really admire this balancing act of encouragement and love while being steadfast and firm. Elle's also such a quiet character, and given what happened in that terrible radio interview, seeing her take this huge step forward is massive when you look at what the character has been through. There's so much pain in this world, and I admire the balancing act visually while adhering to Elle's character. And yeah, it took me a minute to realize that energy is lovely, welcoming, soft, and inviting because we're part of a parade. Maybe it stood out to me in that way because I don't know how to handle balancing my rage and my joy with Pride anymore. I'm so angry and frustrated, but also want to like positivity, hugs, love, happiness, acceptance, but also damn it, you know what I mean? As Tao gets ally teased by Darcy, Charlie sees Nick talking to a random girl at the club that they enter. They lock eyes as Charlie spirals over all the things he said, running through his head. I'm trying, okay? I'm trying to make this fun. We then see Charlie spiraling worse than ever before at home, doing his grounding exercises while slowly being engulfed by dark animations as we jump to Nick's perspective. I really don't like the cliffhanger here. One of my few criticisms with what we actually have. I wish we saw someone being there with Charlie, seeing him make it to the next morning and being okay before jumping to Nick's perspective. If this was anything other than Heartstopper, I'd be really pissed and scared. After all the hard work Heartstopper put in to address this storyline with Charlie, I trust them. Any other show, any other time, any lower quality of writing, I would not feel comfortable with this at all, and I'd be very unhappy. I would like to see Charlie is okay before we jump to Nick's perspective. That being said, jumping to Nick's perspective, leaving the party with dark animations of his own, Nick shuts down in bed just like Charlie did. He's dissociated even from the dogs. He starts taking down photos off the wall, and it hurts to see. It feels so final here with such a tangible act as taking down the photos. Worst of all, he even takes takes down his bi-actually flag. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. It just made me scared that the implication is Nick would flee from his pride, flee from his community in order to get more distance from Charlie. It just really hurt to see him take down the flag too. Nick also tries texting Charlie. While I personally wish they did reach out to each other, it feels necessary from a thematic angle for them to gather themselves before reconnecting. It's just painful when it's not a healthy pause or a break. Oh wow, David actually tries to check in with Nick? Like, genuinely? Like, it's super short-lived, and you can see how stunted emotionally David is because he doesn't stick around for long, but he tries. And I don't know, it was just such a big beat that I'm like, man, more runtime, that would have been really interesting to see. I really like the sentiment, though. It doesn't, suddenly he's not a hero or a better guy. It's just, wow. David really stepped up here for Nick in his own way and failed to follow through. Hopefully one day he will get better and they can be there for each other like brothers for real, actually. Also, turns out David is leaving soon to work for their father in Paris, but not without him acknowledging that their dad isn't a good guy and he hurt him too. While it's an improvement from before, it's still so intricate and complicated, and I kind of like that feeling. Okay, as much as I wish that Tara, Imogen, Darcy, all three, one of them, someone went over to Nick's like Charlie got from his OG team, Tara texting Nick reminding him that pride still exists, especially after he took down his flag, really meant a lot to me. I would have liked everyone to stop by instead, but making sure that Nick still feels included in pride is huge. I wish Tara and Nick got a little more time because I love their friendship, I love their relationship, but damn it if that didn't hit almost as good. As Nick arrives at the ill-fated club, we get to see Imogen wearing an I'm a lesbian shirt, and while I'll wish for more screen time no matter what, it is also so Imogen. Like, we went from I'm an ally to I'm a lesbian. I really liked that. I wish we had more time, but I'm also so proud of you. Tao also runs into Nick and asks him to talk to Charlie. Even Tao of all people believes that Nick and Charlie are just meant to be together. Also, turns out the girl Nick was talking to was Imogen's friend, who's offering Nick, rebound stuff, which, yeah, okay, Charlie's fears literally were coming true. However, Nick says no thank you, like a good polite little boy, before they lock eyes. We jump ahead to Charlie at his coffee shop job, waiting on an older gay couple, offering them a free slice of cake with their coffee that gets rejected. Turns out one of the men is diabetic, and despite the other being cleared to eat it, they still send it back. They take good care of each other, they're in this together, and I really love then seeing Charlie. God, it's so good. Seeing Charlie eat the cake for himself, like, yes, not only is he being inspired that, yes, it's possible for two men to be in a long-standing romantic relationship together, the importance of looking out for each other and taking care of each other, even when one has a thing the other doesn't. It's so beautiful on so many levels. I don't know, it's good for his body and his soul. I don't know how to describe it well. It's so brief, but yes, like I've said 1,000 times, existence is queer success. Seeing these men love each other and seeing Charlie just center himself and take that bite was so satisfying. If we don't get a lot of time, at least we get moments like this. Now in a healthier headspace, Charlie finds Nick's disposable camera under his bed. I think Charlie would have spiraled if he had found Nick's camera without having that piece of cake moment first. And instead of crumbling, gets the pictures developed. Uploads them to the cloud IRL. Did that help? Meanwhile, Nick finds his own version of healing at work, helping Biscuit at the shelter. Just like Nick, even Charlie just needs a little time alone to rediscover their energy for play, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes you need a different treatment than the others. Sometimes a bit of alone time is good for you. I love this reminder that healing is different from person to person, and especially, oh my god, yay, Biscuit got adopted. Like, hooray. Yay, puppy okay. Like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, become a member, 200K, and I'm getting a puppy. Reflecting with his mom about how his father damaged Nick's ability to be himself around others or process negative feelings, let alone receive love. Nick's mom reminds him that while who you love isn't a choice, love is a choice you make every day, encouraging Nick not to give up, not only to choose to work on his relationship, but to keep choosing to love himself. Relationships of any kind require work, and that work isn't a sign of failure. As Charlie and Tori catch up while watching Michael ice skate, Tori reminds Charlie not to assume that she and Michael are straight, and while yes, I called it, I'm a genius, praise me, I also really like how gentle this conversation is. I love this chat about how a relationship's value is measured by those in it, not those who observe it. Any relationship can look like anything you want and be whatever you want it to be. First, Tori and Michael were a reminder that long distance can function. Now they're also a reminder that if it works for you, the details don't matter. It is what it is and whatever. Nick finds a letter from Charlie with the photos he developed, and while part of me thought the point would be to see photos of more than just him and Charlie, I loved the reminder of their love and capturing the moment so freely without worrying about how the photos would turn out. Side note, who took this photo? I also love the cheeky note and the offer to meet Charlie at the beach that night. And hey, look at that! I didn't freak out once that Nick was gonna get into a car crash or something. We did it, Heartstopper. I wasn't scared that something was gonna happen to Charlie at the beach or Nick was gonna get in a car accident. Turns out I too was in a rushed little arc. Nick and Charlie finally talk things out at the beach, and yes, while it's very brief, I feel like this was still a very good first step, despite me wanting to be there for the whole marathon. Charlie admits he gets scared when he can't help Nick like Nick did for him without Nick communicating, and Nick confesses that he's bottling up all of his emotions due to not understanding his feelings, especially when they're negative, or what to even do when he's sad. Again, we don't have a lot of time to say all the things that need to be said. It is comforting to see that they'll still keep working on this together. As the lovely animations return, I adore getting new photo booth photos taken. It's not just a great callback to season 1, it's also a great way to let go of the past and replace it with the present. They are no longer the Nick and Charlie of season 1. Now the past gets to be a memory as opposed to some sort of unobtainable goal. I won't lie, since we're so limited on time, I would have loved a quick nod to Nick getting his own therapy session, obviously not with Jeff, but like something to imply that Nick is gonna have his own therapy journey. A quick acknowledgement of that I think would have gone a long way, since we kind of had to speed run the reconciliation. That being said, I do still feel the presence of a healthier future. We just don't get to be a part of it, unfortunately. With Nick and Charlie back together, and more importantly in a much better headspace, the friend group reunites one last time for, it's not a wedding, I don't think it's prom. Is it a British thing? It's some black tie event. I don't know. If I may, I would have really loved it not be a black tie formal event, because I want to see everyone in like different looks and different outfits and colors, but also I like seeing everyone dressed up. It was still great, but I was like, man, I don't know what this is. I want to see everyone, you know, the Heartstopper gala, if you will. Also, yay, Mr. Ajay, Mr. Farouk are dancing together. I also kind of wish that this was their wedding, but whatever, it's fine. Tao brought his dad's camera and asks everyone what their future holds as we get a glimpse of what's next that we'll never get to see. Tara and Darcy are taking a gap year together to travel. Again, I wish Tara got into Oxford so this felt more like a choice, but okay. Isaac is committed to writing the group's stories, and I love that little Isaac wrote Heartstopper, actually. It's cute. Imogen wants to be a lawyer or a CEO, and it just makes me smile. She's still so indecisive, but has big ambitions nonetheless. Sahar is gonna focus on her music, and Tori and Michael plan to eventually die one day, which got me to smile at a much needed time. Elle confirms that she is in fact going to Berlin to be an artist, which prompts Ao to finally put down the camera for one last dance with Elle. Excellent choreography here as the butterflies surround Tao and Elle before Tao lets Elle go as she continues dancing on her own. And as the butterflies follow her away from Tao, you can feel that they really will be in each other's lives no matter what. Anything can happen. Who knows? I also really like that everyone got to share a piece of their future plans. Well, everyone except Tao. What's Tao's plan? Did we forget Tao? At least Nick and Tao get one last nice little heart-to-heart together. Tao admitting to Nick that yes, the group will always be connected to some capacity is a huge step for him, considering everything he's gone through throughout the series. While I don't know what Tao's gonna do with his future, he did get the best resolution to his arc. While he has to say goodbye to all of his friends, even his girlfriend, he acknowledges that it doesn't mean that it's completely over and they'll never speak again. I really like trusting the will of the Heartstopper. It was really nice. After saying goodbye to the friend group, Nick and Charlie run through the halls together, just like they did in season 1. Oh, fuck off. It's the same building that they kissed in? Go piss, Heartstopper. God, that's brilliant. Bloody hell indeed. Like, I genuinely screamed at that revelation. That was so good. I felt it with the hallway enough as it was. That was such a great revelation. Also, I hate you. This was beautiful. I love this full circle moment for Nick and Charlie. Like, yeah, you're playing a little dirty, Heartstopper, but I'll allow it here. You earned it. Nick and Charlie embrace both the excitement and fears of the unknowns, accepting that Nick is going to Leeds and Charlie will come visit, and their stronger headspace make things feel easier to be happy while also acknowledging that it's going to be hard. Because again, that hard work doesn't mean you're failing. I really appreciate the time we have here for the epilogue. I also feel like we kind of wasted part of the epilogue because we see a visual representation of what almost everyone said they were going to do on camera. Tara and Darcy said they're going to travel travel and take a gap year. And then we see Tara and Darcy travel and take a gap year. Sahar talks about doing her music. And while it's lovely to see Imogen went to see her show, it's just Sahar doing her music. Isaac says he's gonna write. We see Isaac writing. I just kind of, maybe a little more, I don't know. I will say I absolutely love, while it's not explicitly about Tori or her goals, Tori squealing with excitement in the library upon reading that Michael qualified for the Olympics. That's not only the loudest Tori has ever been, that's like a huge spike in emotion for her. That was so satisfying. I wish I knew more about Tori's future, but Tori's also very private, so getting clued into Tori's emotions in the epilogue was excellent. I wish everyone got something a little more like that, since we heard everyone say what they want to do, and then most of the epilogue is seeing what people said they were gonna do. Like, it just, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's lovely to see everyone one last time. And considering how Nick and Charlie needed time apart, it's nice to see everyone thrive on their own, whether it's on their own as an individual or in their own couple outside of the group. And don't get me wrong, I still like seeing everyone thriving and being happy. I'm not complaining. I'm like, oh, I wanted a little more, maybe a little further in the future because the actors are older now. Who's to say? Maybe I should just see this more as plans becoming reality and not overthink it so much. And as bummed as I am that we still don't know what Tao's gonna do, I love not only seeing that Elle has been painting Tao in Berlin, but Tao surprised her with a visit to go see her art show in Berlin. It was very satisfying on the Tao tries to orchestrate indie rom-com vibes, and then really having an indie rom-com vibe here was really lovely. After we say goodbye to the extended cast, we see Charlie getting off the train, visiting Nick in Leeds. While I'm sure there were plenty of hard days before this trip, the excitement at visiting the area, the queer scene, and meeting new friends, it's plenty reward for the couple working through all their hardships after Nick left for uni. Waking up in each other's arms the next morning, Charlie is notably hungry as they prepare to go get breakfast. While that's a beautiful moment in and of itself, Nick wanting a few more minutes before they leave, I don't know, it made me feel like Nick isn't hovering over Charlie's appetite. It just feels like the right amount of space. Before they leave, they flip through the old memory scrapbook that Charlie got Nick for his birthday, looking back on old photos before turning to a blank page. As they head out to make more memories together, one last animated leaf lands on their story that's still being told. Whoa, wait, stop spoiling the comic and the credits. I'm just kidding. I like the credits. I did enjoy Heartstopper Forever for what it was. I can't deny how frustrating the limited runtime is, and I still want to keep those thoughts to a minimum. That being said, while some of the moments weren't as excellent as others, some needed more details or a little work, or I wish it was a little different. There were more great moments than there were ones. I'm always gonna want more screen time here, and it's a bittersweet pill to swallow to see, like, let's remember Pride, while also, why did this get shortened, Netflix? Like, it's really hard to grapple with those feelings. There is always the books, and I hope Netflix takes that into account. Again, while maneuvering through the limitations of this is what we got, I guess I'm just gonna lay hope that maybe something like Heated Rivalry going so well, maybe one day we could get an animated version of this that's kind of the extended, more book accurate version. But what we get is still really good. It just really holds itself back from being truly excellent that we don't have the proper amount of time or pacing. I don't know how things work with Netflix contracts. Like, part of me is like, why don't you just make a 5-hour movie? Wink, but I doubt that's how that works. I still don't like this unsatisfying feeling in my stomach that I didn't get a proper resolution for a lot of the characters and a lot of the storylines. It's still better than nothing, but I hate feeling grateful for crumbs. On a creative side, though, I think they did a really great job with what was left, with what they were given. And while we spend so much time with Nick and Charlie, I do appreciate illustrating little bits and pieces of the side characters, taking that moment for Elle, especially as we're facing the current world, and something like Heartstopper doesn't not feel like a byproduct of that. I'll always wish for more. My negatives within the confines of what exists are pretty small. Again, I'd like to know what happened to Tao or what his dreams are. I wish Tara and Darcy's gap year maybe had a little more time to develop, or like Tara and Darcy just like showed up more in general. I wish we'd gotten more support for Nick. I feel like that's been a consistent thought I've had throughout the whole series, but especially here in such a limited time. Again, Imogen, Tara, Darcy, however, I do still really love making sure Nick feels included in Pride. The pacing is just so fast, and part of me feels like narratively, yeah, life comes at you really fast. Another part of me is like, but that's because it was supposed to be longer. Like, it's so maddening. But I still want to applaud the creatives, both performance and behind the camera, the writing. The fact that this got to happen at all is wonderful. I love and hope Heartstopper really helped a lot of people. It definitely helped me frame things definitely need a lot of improvement, but also sometimes that comforting, this would have gone way worse when I was younger. So it had a bit of a healing factor there for me, while just being hopeful that things are better and hoping one day we can find the best possible future. Kind of like the show itself, it's sometimes a bitter pill to swallow. I still really enjoyed the characters, and even again, if it's moments, at least the moments overall for the most part were really good. It's just also hard to let go when I know that there was so much left unsaid. Kind of like a sudden breakup kind of a feeling, but the message of love and support, mental health and identity, and supporting each other, supporting yourself, the community, pride itself, I feel like those messages still shine through. Overall, I still enjoyed what we got. It's just, yeah, it's kind of deflating. So yeah, there you guys go. Those were my thoughts on Heartstopper Forever. I know this series didn't go great, but I appreciate everyone who watched and hung out with me and stuck with me. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments as always. I'm super interested to see how the books turn out. Let me know if you want me to do that, or maybe that's a Patreon video. I did the Nimona book and no one cared, but we'll see. I'd really love to know what people think. I hope we can at least look back and appreciate what we got while shaking our fists and bemoaning what could have been and out of the creative control. I still hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you next time I upload or go live. Links in the description as always, gaming channel, merch store, PO box, as well as a resource card as always, should you or someone you know need them. Doing this series really challenged me in leaving my comfort zone here and there and talking about things that I'm nervous to talk about. So just thank you in my own small way. This really helped me. Give me ideas of what to do next in the comments. Patreon plug. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you next time I upload or go live. I hope everyone's staying safe. Thank you so much again as always for watching. Be mindful of others and remember to take care of yourselves, please.